Okay. Questions on, yeah. Yep. Good deal. 27 through 34. Shh. Hey, you squirrels in the back, will you be quiet, please? Questions on the assignment from Wednesday? Abby? No? Emma, did you say 31 and... Oh, okay. All right. So no questions from this assignment? 30? Okay. For 30, I have to factor it first. So what can I factor out of 3x cubed minus 3x? And, good. So I'm going to factor out a... I'm going to factor out a 3x. What does that leave me? No, because I factored the 3 out. So it's just x squared minus 1. Okay? Then, what does x squared minus 1 factor into? And 1 and negative 1, yeah. X plus 1 and x minus 1. Okay, so since that factored into 3 pieces, I have 3 answers. What's one of them? Negative 1, positive 1, and 0. Good. Okay. Because if I plug 3 in for x right here, I get 9, not 0. I want to turn these all into 0. Okay? Okay, is this being raised to a power? What, 1? So that means this has a multiplicity of 1. Okay? Is this being raised to a power? Yes, 1. So this has a multiplicity of 1, and this one has a multiplicity of 1 also. And it says you only have to state the multiplicity of multiple zeros. So since none of those are multiple zeros, I'm just going to leave it like that. Okay? Okay, any other questions from your homework assignment? 32. Okay, this is already factored for us. It's factored into 2 pieces. So I have 2 answers. What are the 2 answers? Positive 2 and positive 1. Since this factor is being raised to the second power, that means it is a multiplicity of 2. That one is just being raised to the first power, so it's just multiplicity 1. Okay? Yep, those are easy. Anything else? What number makes x minus 4 equal to 0? Positive 4, and since that is being raised to the second power, it will have a multiplicity of 2. X equals 4, multiplicity 2. Okay? All right, I will take those from you. Okay, what makes this, ouch, what makes this be 0? Okay, well, if you set that equal to 0 and solve, how would you do it? So I have 2x plus 3 equals 0. What do I do first? That's okay. Trying to get the x by itself, right? So how do I get rid of the plus 3? Yep, minus 3 from both sides. And then how do I get rid of the 2? What's the 2 doing to the x? Right, so the inverse of timesing is... Okay, so I'm going to divide both sides by 2. So x equals negative 3 halves. That's the answer for this. Okay, this is only to the first power, so it's not a multiple 0. What value of x makes this be 0? I just want to know if x minus 1 equals 0, what does x equal? Yeah, and then, right, like you said, because that's to the second power, it will have a multiplicity of 2. Yep. Uh-huh. Do. Okay, got to factor it. Yep. Now, since you have a 2 in front, you're technically supposed to go this number times this number and then do that whole thing, but we can do this a little bit easier, I think, just by guessing and checking. What has to go in the front of each one of these parentheses in order for it to multiply together to be 2x squared? 2x and x. 2x times x is 2x squared. What number has to be at the end of these parentheses for it to multiply together to be 1? A 1 and a 1. So the only question is, since these have to multiply together to be a negative 1, which one of these is positive and which one is negative? And it turns out that this one is positive and this one is negative because if I multiply these two things together, I'll get negative x. If I multiply those two things together, I'll get positive 2x. And then those would combine to give me the positive x that I want, okay? So that's how that looks, totally factored. So now I just have to go through like we've been doing and figure out what values of x makes each piece equal to 0. What makes this 0? What makes this one 0? But there's a 2 in front, so I'd have to go plus 1 and then divide by 2, so it's positive 1/2. And what makes this equal to 0? Well, 1 over 1, which is just 1. But it would be negative because I'd have to subtract 1 from both sides, so it's negative 1. Okay? And then none of those have an exponent greater than 1, so they're all just normal. Okay? What's the matter? Huh? That makes you mad? Oh, no, it's fine. It's all good, Emma. Okay, Peyton. Totally fine. Let's talk our way through it. It's great that you weren't here yesterday. This is going to give me an opportunity to, well, one-on-one time, okay? So first thing you need to do, Peyton, is combine the like terms. Are there any? Yep. What do you got? Okay, good. So negative 4a squared is what you get when you combine the a squared and the negative 5a squared. Good. And then we also have 4a minus a. That combines to be plus 3a. Okay? So that's the first step. That's like first year algebra stuff. You guys should be pretty good at that. What we're really trying to focus on is classifying it by degree and number of terms. So Peyton, what is the degree of that expression? Which makes it a quadratic. And then, yeah, there's 2 terms, so it is a quadratic binomial. Okay? I sure hope so, yeah. That's weird. All right, Abby, next one. Good. Negative 2x minus 1/3. So she just combined the 3x and the negative 5x and got negative. Yep. And then that means that this is a linear binomial. Remember on the quiz that we had, Zoe, can I get more of your attention up here? Thanks. Remember on the quiz that we had on Tuesday, some of you wanted to say that this was constant because there's no exponent, but it is x to the first power. We just don't write that 1. Yeah. All right, how about the next one, Emma? What do you get when you combine this n cubed and those minus 3n cubes? How many n cubes do you have? Negative 2, yep. So I have negative 2n cubed. How many n squareds? How many plain old n's? negative 1, and then minus 3. Okay? All right, so in that one, the only two things that you need to combine are the n squareds, the n cubes. N cubed minus 3n cubed makes negative 2n cubed. What's the degree, Emma, of this polynomial? 3, so that means it's a cubic. How many terms does it have? 4, and if you look on your chart, we decided that if we went past 3 terms, we would just say cubic polynomial, is it of 4 terms or with 4 terms or something? Okay? All right, how about number 4? Sophie? Okay, so that gives me a sweet. Yeah. Y squared minus 18y. How did you get the 18? Because this one is a negative and that one's positive. So it should be negative. I mean, you're right. You still get the same name, but this piece is important also, that you get that. Okay? So yeah, since this is negative and that's positive, it's negative 2y, not negative 18y. Okay? Chris, how about number 5? Okay, and that gives us a, okay. All right, and then the last one of these. Colby, what do you get when you combine the x squareds here? Awesome. And what do you get when you combine negative 5x, x, and 4x? They actually all cancel, so it's just 0. So when the numbers cancel, the x's cancel also, okay? So since this is a second degree, it is a, okay, if the degree is 2, just like those other ones we did, it's quadratic. And one term is, nope, that would be if it was to the first power. Yeah, one term is monomial. So that is a quadratic monomial. All right, any questions on standard form, naming them, all that kind of stuff? Okay. No, I forgot to grade them. I was like, oh, I'll grade the first period ones before school, and then my second period is all gone today because of Knowledge Bowl. So I was like, I have a flip chart to make. I got to make up a quiz for 5th period, and I did those things, and I was like, all right, sweet. And then when I started teaching this class, I was like, oh, crap. Next step was going to be give you your quizzes back and go through the quizzes, but I screwed up, Emma. Could you ever forgive me? Okay. No. No. There were 3 kids in there. Only 10. I asked them if they wanted to do something, if they wanted to learn some calculus. Surprisingly, they said no. Can you believe that? Amy? Positive or negative? Okay. Is the good positive even? So that is up. Okay. Okay, you guys okay with this stuff here? We have that little table. It should be in your notes. You don't have to. I'm just trying to be a good teacher and show my work. So if people aren't sure how I got the answer, they can see. Luke, positive or negative for the lead coefficient for the highest term? Positive. Is the exponent, is the degree odd or even? Odd. So positive odd means? Positive odd actually means down up. Okay. Brianna? Did you say left, right? Math humor. Okay, David? Positive or negative? Odd or even? So that means it's what? Positive even is actually up, up. Okay? You guys make sure you have that table in your notes, all right? That's going to continue to haunt you. Zoe? Zoe? Positive or negative? Okay, is this positive or negative? Is the exponent or the degree, okay? Yeah. Sure, man. What you got? Okay. You guys got this? Yes. Okay, so now let's practice some factoring again. Can never have too much factoring in your life. Ashlyn, what can I factor out of x cubed plus 5x? X. What does that leave me? Plus 5. Okay. And that's it. Okay? In this case, there are no two numbers that multiply together to be positive 5 and add to be 0. So we're done. Okay? All right. How about the next one? All honor. Brennan? What can I factor out of x cubed plus x squared minus 6x? Okay, and that leaves me with? We factored an x out, right? So each one of those goes down by 1. And then what does x squared plus x minus 6 factor into? Two numbers that multiply together to be negative 6 and add to be 1. Positive 3 and negative 2. Okay? If the middle term is positive, Brennan, then the bigger number needs to be positive also. Okay? All right, number 15, we can go through together because this one is one of those strange ones. You can start out by just factoring out the x, but then unfortunately since we have a 6 in front of the x squared, it's not as easy as the one that Brennan just did. Anybody remember what the first step is for us to... you're doing the quadratic formula. Yeah, I have to times what? Good, I have to times the 6 and negative 3, and that gives me negative 18. Okay? So instead of looking for two numbers that multiply together to be negative 3 and add to be negative 7, I'm looking for... how did I get the negative 18? What'd you say, Peyton? So the 6 and the negative 3. Yep, the outside numbers. Okay. So two numbers that multiply together to be negative 18 and add to be negative 7 are negative 9 and positive 2. Okay. Okay, so that means I can rewrite that middle term as negative 9x plus 2x minus 3. Then I look at these as two separate problems. What can you factor out of 6x squared minus 9x? What can I factor out of 6x squared minus 9x? A 3 and an x. Good. When you do that, what's left? A 2x, not x squared because we took an x out, so that drops it down, minus 3. Okay, which is the same as what I have right here. I can't actually factor anything out of that. Okay? So, now I'm going to factor 2x minus... Like, just, what are you doing? Sit up, turn this way. You're so dialed, you're like 2 inches away from this intense conversation. No, I'm good, thanks. Now I'm going to factor this 2x minus 3 out of both of these terms. If I factor 2x minus 3 out of here, what's left? 3x. And then this is a little bit strange. If I factor 2x minus 3 out of here, what's left? One. I need a plus 1. Okay? Okay, so that's that all factored out. Yeah. Why did I put a what? You're going to have to hit me with that one more time. Well, I couldn't factor 3x out of here right at the beginning because 3 doesn't go into 7 evenly. Yes, yes. Okay, these are easy. Andrea, can you write a polynomial in factored form with those? Good. Okay. Vili, nope. Gavin. Callista, can you write a polynomial in factored form with those zeros? Okay, so I could shorten that up a little bit into x minus 1 squared and then x minus 2. Okay. Okay, Jessica. Good. Okay, you guys good with those? Those are really easy. Okay, so I'm not going to go through 19 through 21. Okay. You want to look at 21? Because of 0? Right. Yeah, you just put x. So this one would be x squared times x minus 2 times x minus 3. Okay? Okay. Oh man, you got a lot of those. All right, we are almost there. Okay, so now it's written in factored form already, and we need to find the zeros. So I know that was kind of funny, huh? We started out with Peyton and Abby, and then we got McKenna and Sydney. Who just came up? Oh, Ariel. Okay, so what are the zeros? 2 and -4. Okay. Alexandria, what are the zeros of this? Okay. Gavin, what are the zeros of this? Okay. And so far we haven't had any multiple zeros. Danica? Alrighty. Sage? Yeah. Nope. What are the zeros? What makes this equal to 0? What would I have to plug into x for me to get 0 if I squared it? 0. Okay. What would make this be 0? -1. Okay. Class, Callista, Abby, Zoe. This one's a little bit different, so I want to make sure you understand. Since this is an x squared, this answer has a multiplicity of 2. Okay? So make sure that if it's being raised to an exponent, you... Yep. Okay, Brennan, what you got? 3, okay. All right, and since this is squared, this would have a multiplicity of 2. Okay. Huh? You want to know why it has a multiplicity of 2? Okay. Okay, Emma, Amy, appreciate your patience. 31. Ready? Okay. All right, 31, sadly, it says find the relative maximum and minimum of the graph. So we have to graph the function. Okay, so x cubed minus 3x squared plus 2 is x cubed minus 3x squared, what? Plus 2? Okay, so thank you. So the relative maximum and minimums are the y values of the peaks and the valleys. Okay, so I got a peak right here, so that y value is 2, yep, and then I got a valley right here, that y value is -2. So I would say a relative maximum of y equals 2 at x equals 0 and a relative minimum of y equals -2. Does anybody remember what the x value was? Thank you. At x equals 2. Okay? All right, and then the last one. A jewelry store is designing a gift box. The sum of the length, width, and the height is 12 inches. Do you want to go L, W, and H, or do you want to go X, Y, and Z? X, Y, Z. Absolutely, Zoe. Thank you for asking so nicely. Okay, so we know that they add up to 12, so x plus y plus z equals 12. It also says the length is 1 inch greater than the height, so x equals y plus 1. Okay? What should the dimensions of the box be to maximize its volume, and what would that volume be? What's the formula for the volume of a box? X times y times z, length times width times height. The problem is, for us to graph this and find the maximum, I can only have one variable, okay? Well, the good news is, since I know that x is equal to y plus 1, I can replace this x with a y plus 1, and I can replace this x with a y plus 1. Okay? So now I have eliminated one of the variables. So instead of having an x, a y, and a z, now I only have a y and a z. Does anyone see a way that I can eliminate another one of those variables? Up here? What did you say? Yeah, so I'm going to take this and I'm going to start by subtracting 1 from both sides. So that tells me y plus z equals 11. Okay? Then I'm going to subtract y from both sides. So z equals 11 minus y. You getting all this, Ariel? Zoe, you got this? You're paying really good attention. I appreciate that. This isn't going to be on anybody's quiz next week except for yours. So now I can rewrite this as y plus 1 times y, and instead of writing z, I can write 11 minus y. Okay? Oh, I like that facial expression. That's good. No, that's not the answer, but now that I have it with only one variable, I can graph it, and I can use the graph to find the answer. Okay? I'm going to change the y's to x's because Desmos is happier that way. So I'm going to go x plus 1 times x times x, nope, times 11 minus x. All right, so there's my graph. What did I want? What am I looking for? Maximize the volume. Where is it? Yeah, it's up top somewhere, so I have to go up here to find it. I don't think so because it goes up and then it comes back down. So it's going to be there somewhere. 500. 350. 275. Oh. Okay, what is the maximum volume? That's the x value where it occurs. The maximum volume is, I'm just going to round these, the maximum volume is 224. And then we figured out that for that to happen, y has to equal about 7. So if y is 7, what's x? Eight, good, because right here it says x is equal to y plus 1. So if y is 7, x is 8. Hang on. What's z? Not quite.
5.
It's 11 minus 7, which is 4. If you guys think 11 minus 7 is 5, you should pay better attention. Yep, that's all we got.